everyone. I'm Dr. Sandeep Sharma, the pediatric faculty, and this is a very special last minute video that we have prepared for all of you students. We have the maverick ENT surgeon, the leading ENT faculty in the country, Dr. Rajiv Dhawan, with us. And the purpose of this video is many of you know it already. Some of you will be knowing through this video that just a few hours back, National Medical Council has released the draft regulations. Yes, the draft regulations for the national exit exam. This exam is going to subsume all the existing exams, including NEET PG, INI CET, FMGE, etc. And it is also going to be essential for your license, that is being eligible to practice MBBS in the country. So because they look to be simple, but there are certain key points, key takeaways from that. So the purpose of this video is not to, share our own opinion. We are simply breaking down what the NMC has already said in that. So let us start without wasting any time. So welcome, sir. Sir is currently in Toronto, and from there, sir is connected here. Even I'm having a very, very bad sore throat, but despite that, it's important that we put the message across. So that's the purpose.
That's really the aim behind this short presentation to all of you. As Dr. Sandeep very rightly said, not our interpretation, but what actually NMC wants to convey to all the future students. We would like to share the same thing with you so that you get more clarity on the particular change which has come up now.
So, sir, I'm going to share the screen for the benefit of students. I have summarized the key points here. Again, I emphasize these are all taken from the draft protocol. These are not our opinions. These are what the NMC is saying. So where we stand and the takeaways from that. So first of all, points to note, the NMC says that they are seeking comments of the stakeholders on the proposed draft as prescribed in the NMC Act 2019. So these are guidelines, and they have said that about 30 days period they have given for suggestions, comments to be taken from the general public and the medical fraternity, and how much they incorporate, whether they accept or not, it is entirely in the hands of NMC and the government. And these regulations will come into force on the date of its publication in the official gazette. If you're thinking it is just a loose draft which will be aborted or so, this is not the case. This is how things actually happen. Like I still remember that when GST was implemented or when any major policy change is done, there is always a process for that. There is a draft which is put out for public inputs. Then some public inputs are taken into account, but the broad majority of the entire program remains as such. And after tweaking a bit, it is officially published in the Gazette of India. And after publication in the Gazette, it becomes like a rule of the law. So the takeaways from there is these are draft guidelines. Number one, comments are to be invited within 30 days and they are yet to be published in the Gazette of India. So some changes may still happen. Although on a personal basis, I feel it is unlikely that the thing is going to change. Dhawan sir, your comments on this?
Absolutely. I think it's a process which they follow with all major changes when they bring about. It's just the one last step before they gadget it actually out. However, I would agree with Sandeep that no major changes expected at this point of time in any draft regulations.
So moving on to the next thing. So this is what the national exit exam is saying, that it is going to be a common exam which will subsume everything. So it will be a license exam, number one. That is, it is going to be deciding whether you are able to get the degree, the practice to practice in India or not. Secondly, it will also decide whether you will be getting a PG seat of your choice or not. So DNB, MD, MS admissions will be made based upon this. And all the foreign medical graduate exam students are also supposed to sit in that. Sir, your opinion on this?
Absolutely, Dr. Sandeep, as we all have been, hearing about national exit test now, the draft regulation is very clear. The mandate of the exam is so broad, so wide that I can say that it's a totally sea change in the landscape of the medical education in the country. You can understand, Dr. Sandeep, that a student who is studying in AIIMS Delhi and a student who is studying in some state medical college or a foreign medical university will have to face similar exam, which is the national exit test part 1 now. And so that's why I would say it's a huge change for all medical students which are currently in that part of their curriculum, which they have to face the exam, or the future students also. So the final year exam is over. It will be replaced by the national exit test 1. And the same exam you have to pass, to call yourself as theory pass in the final year paper of MBBS final prof. Number two, you can begin your internship only if you pass this exam. Third, of course, the marks of this exam would be definitely counted for your post-graduation degree as well. And all the FMGs also have to take the same exam, and all the PG exam also will merge into this one exam eventually. So this is what the mandate of the exam is, which is very broad and which is a very huge change, I would say.
So this is a lot of students, especially FMG students, are going to be a lot of disturbed and worried by the merging of the exams. But I think this is a change which was in the offing and it was going to happen. Change is never easy, but change is the rule of law. And I think we all need to accept this and start working on this.
Absolutely.
So moving on to the next thing, sir, your comments on that. Like because a lot of information, even few hours back also I saw on Telegram students asking and students discussing that maybe the NEET PG will not happen, INI CET and FMG will automatically overnight go away. I don't think that is going to happen, sir. Sir, your comments on this?
Yeah, even they have mentioned in this draft regulation that there will be actually a time which will be hybrid time. Because, like, for example, INICT, which happens 2 times in a year, cannot be phased out abruptly. So they are already indicating that there will be, some phase in this whole thing, that there will be hybrid kind of thing, that they might have to conduct 2 different type of exams in 1 year, which they have not clarified, and they will say they will be actually issuing the guidelines for that in the coming days. So once the gazettement happens. So we should expect certain exam like INSTT or maybe one FMG exam to occur even after the gazettement is there. And eventually all these exams would merge into national exit test.
So, sir, I don't think this is going to change the March NEET PG, which is going to happen, right?
No, that is not going to be affected because March 2023 NEET PG is anyway going to be, same as has been announced. Actually, this is futuristic plan.
Yes. But afterwards, there is a possibility that NEET PG may not happen. Although INI CET and FMG 1 or 2 exams may be there till the entire system gets streamlined. This is what they are trying to say.
Yeah. There will be an element of speculation about these exams, which I think each one will be having only one option to wait for the NMC to declare their actually hybrid plan for some exams. So let us wait. But as you rightly said, that the NEET PG maybe like phased out after 2023 March, but INST FMG examination might happen one time before finally the merging into national exit test.
Sir, the next thing, the key features of next as per the draft, we have not taken the entire snapshot. We're just going to simplify it for the sake of students. So next one will be a MCQ based exam. It will be held online, just like NEET PG is held. And all those students who finish their final year, they will be eligible to appear in the exam. Next one, examination will be held once a year, only once a year prior to the university practical exam, preceding the compulsory rotating internship. So what it means is that the theory exam of final year is going to go away instead of the theory exam which every university holds for their final year students. After you complete final year, instead of theory exam, you will have the next one exam. It will be MCQ exam once a year, same exam for every student. It will be before university practical exam, before internship begins. And the next one, those who fail in the in one or more subjects in next one, there will be a supplementary exam also held where you will be supposed to appear in the subjects which you have failed. Supplementary exam will also be held only once a year, and there is no restriction to the number of attempts to appear in next one, but you have to pass both step 1 and step 2 within 10 years of joining the MBBS course. Step 2 we will come in sometime. Sir, your comments on this? Please.
Absolutely, Dr. Sandeep, you have rightly summarized that. My dear friends, please be clear about one thing, that the final year theory paper is being, actually replaced by this national exit test 1. So that's the main take-home message for each one of us also, and all the medical students also. The main thing is that I again come back to you are a student of AIMS Delhi or SMS Jaipur or MAMC Delhi or Maharashtra or Bangalore or Chennai or Guwahati, wherever you are. Right now every university has got a different structure, different pattern, different level of questions being asked, but now the uniformity is coming up. So it means that the students have to scale up their preparation so that they're able to achieve the national standards which they're going to create. So that's a very huge thing which is coming up. So the idea behind this meeting is to make you aware, not make you feel scared actually, so that we all stakeholders should start preparing for the coming change in an appropriate, in a very timely manner. And as Sir rightly said, that they are creating a broad structure that within 10 years of joining the MBBS course, you must finish the next step one and next step two. Next step two, sir, will be coming in a while from now.
Sir, talking more about next one, there is no restriction to number of attempts to improve the scores, but these have to be taken at least 1 year after completion of next step 2. So it's not like you appeared in next one, then while internship you think, okay, I will appear again for improving my score. So your first attempt becomes very, very important. So it has to be a good attempt. This is true for people who are currently in their second year, third year doing MBBS. People who have already passed out, I don't think the guidelines are going to be slightly different for those. Then, as I've already said, it will replace the theory exams. According to NMC guidelines, this is intended to discourage rote learning by the students, and the pattern of exam, it will not be a one-liner based thing. It will be a case vignettes, and clinical case scenarios shall be the overwhelming pattern of exam. These are not my words. These are taken verbatim from the guidelines. Sir, your comments on this?
So, my dear friends, so the broad structure paper would be focusing mainly on the clinical scenarios. So that's again, they're making it very clear that they want to take the students away from rote learning to more conceptual clinical learning. So I think, and this gets in sync with the our mindset also, that we also want our students really to have a very conceptual understanding of the subject, and that's what the paper is going to have as a major chunk of the questions. Dr. Sandeep, can you please tell at this moment only that what is next step 2, sir? Like next step 1 and then followed by what, sir?
Sir,
next step 2.
I'll come to next 2 also. Like I've made the PPT. Basically, to simplify in one line, I am a final year student. What the guidelines are saying is, I finish my final year. After final year, I sit in next one. This next one will be the same all through the country. After next one, I pass, I get more than 50%, percentage, not percentile, percentage I get, total also, and in each subject also. So I need to pass individually in each subject. I will be then sitting for my university practical exam. University practical exam is not being replaced by next 2. I will be sitting in university practical exam just like we sit now. After that, after passing that, I will be starting my internship. Once my 1 year internship is over, then I will be appearing in next 2. This next 2 will be a standardized NMC monitored kind of program where there will be OSCEs, clinical cases, and there will be guidelines issued. The scope of exam will be issued in details later on. And only when I clear next 2 also, then I will be eligible for getting a degree. Plus, next 2 will be pass or fail kind of thing. There is no percentage scores involved in that. And based upon my next 1 score, which I had got last year, I will be sitting for the counseling. I will be applying for counseling and getting my seat. So I think this is the summary of what the exams are going to be. So, sir, before I go there, let me show the next one paper pattern, what they have proposed. This is something which is very important, even for people who are currently there, who may not do well in the upcoming NEET PG, and they may have to sit next year. Because next exam, this is the pattern which they are proposing. So there will be 6 papers, 6 subjects, medicine and allied subjects. So it will not be only medicine. It will be medicine along with emergency medicine, along with psychiatry, along with dermatology, etc. It will be 3 hours. Surgery and allied subjects. So surgery along with trauma, along with anesthesia, along with orthopedics. It will be 120 items. Obs gynae. So 60 obs, 60 gynae. Pediatrics, it will be 60 items, means 60 questions. You can call them questions, call them items. ENT, again 60, ophthalmology 60. And these are the proposed durations which they have said. And the guidelines also say that for next step 1, in each of the 6 papers, minimum 50% or half of the maximum possible raw score should be scored. Right? Yeah. So minimum 50% you need to score in these patients, in these papers. And the guidelines also say that in each subject, 10% weightage should be given to applied aspects of these 7 pre and paraclinical. So anatomy, physio, biochem, patho, pharma, micro, forensic. These 7 subjects will have 10% weightage, which is applied. and 10% weightage will be of community medicine in a applied format. For example, they will not ask you now origin and insertion of the muscles. What they are more likely to ask is, in surgery, you will have questions of applied anatomy, where they may ask you course of recurrent laryngeal nerve and how it is liable to be injured during thyroid surgery. I think that kind of applied information is going to be there. So yes, basic sciences will be important. So whatever you have read before, it is not going to be totally obsolete. But the way it is being asked currently in NEET PG, that pattern is likely to be changed. And sir, your comments on this?
Yeah, Dr. Sandeep, one thing we have to really highlight over here, that students have to individually pass in each of the subject, because it's a final year exam. Please understand it. It's not a NEET PG examination anymore solely. It is a final year examination, and if you know, in every subject individually you have to pass in your final year theory paper, which is university paper. Same here, they are saying that you will have to pass the paper individually in every subject, scoring minimum 50% of the score. They have not commented on the negative marking in this draft regulation as of now. And as Dr. Sandeep has told, the pre and paraclinical would be asked in an applied manner. So sir has given a beautiful example of the course of the RLN in relation to thyroid surgery. So guys, you should get an idea that what the major chunk of the assessment is going to be the clinical vignettes or the conceptual clinical scenario based questions. Within that, they will accommodate the certain question which will check the applied part of the pre and paraclinical sciences, and the community medicine would be asked in a relevant proportion in every subject. Approximately 10% of the question would be coming from the social and preventive medicine side. One more thing I would like to add over here, sir. The practical exam which you would be facing after this theory exam, the next one is declared pass for all the 6 subjects. Then you get qualified to appear in the university practical paper, and that will be pass or fail kind of score. There will be no like grading of that particular thing, which will be counted to assess your final score for the PG admission. So the PG admission score would be solely dependent on these 6 subject theory paper of next one. The remaining practical paper, there are 2 practical paper coming up for you. One practical paper is before internship, which is conducted by university, and the other practical paper is at the end of internship, which Dr. Sandeep rightly said that its next 2 paper will be again a pass or fail. These 2 are pass or fail. Basically, they're assessing your clinical skill before you start the internship and after you finish the internship. But both of them will have clear-cut guidelines from the NMC, but it will be conducted by the university or the local institutions. But however, the rating, the school will pass or fail. No quantitative assessment will be done as per these draft regulations. Dr. Sandeep, anything from your side to add on to this?
No, sir. I think you've already covered whatever we had to say. Like, we are only simplifying. We are not giving our own personal opinion upon how it is going to be, because that is going to be a conjecture at this moment. Next one, last thing, I've already told this, that in each subject you need to pass. Like when I was a student, I used to, read ENT and ophthalmology very superficially. Although I'm a pediatrician today, pediatrics also I used to read very superficially. Now you will have to pass individually in each one of them. So in NEET PG, you will have, you are very good in one subject, you are not doing well in other subject. It can be compensated, but right now it is going to be important to pass in each subject individually. So these 6 subjects individually you have to pass. That is another take-home point for those who are doing MBBS right now. And in case of failure in one or more subjects, the total marks will be calculated from the sum of total in both regular and supplementary exams. So both will be taken into account. And average or mean of last 3 consecutive scores will decide the total marks percentage of these students.
So, sir, what I understand is that the first attempt, which is going to be right after your MBBS final prof ends, would be a very significant attempt for the PG entrance examination score also. The reason is they are saying that they are not going to count best of 3. They are saying that they will follow the policy of average of last 3, sir. So which is actually meaning that in the first paper, right after your MBBS final prof ends, you did next one. Unfortunately, you scored maybe 53% or 54% in all the subjects close to that. You passed the paper, you studied everything. Now, After the internship is over, you clear the next two, you finish everything, you get the license now, you get registered as a doctor in the country, but now you have to wait for one more year to appear in the improvement examination. Now you waited for 1 year, you scored this time 67%. Okay, but when you fill this score for the PG exam, assessment, you have to take the average of last two exam now, means 53 plus 67 divided by 2. So that is actually a message for me as a student. If I would have been student, means my first attempt right after MBBS should be my best attempt also, because I should not really keep on hoping that I would do the internship, I will wait for 1 year, I'll do the improvement examination. That would not suffice, actually, I would say. So however, they have kept the window open for everyone. You can take n number of improvement examination, but first improvement examination, they're saying you have to take 1 year after finishing your next two examination.
Yes, yes.
And the scores are going to be valid for 3 years, sir. So the validity of score means that you finish your final year, you scored X number of marks. Wonderful. 1 year went for your internship. Okay. After that, you have to do, for example, a rural job in some states is there. You finish that also. Your score will remain relevant for your PG entrance also for next 3 years.
Sir, it's like a saying na, that karma stays with you forever. So next one is also going to stay with you. So as sir has said very rightly, suppose I am a student, I take it next one very lightly, and I score only 50 marks in a particular subject. And next year I increase it to 70, and third year I increase it to 80. So even if now I have scored 80, that 80 is not going to be taken as 80. It is going to be an average of these three scores. So 70 plus 80 plus 50 divided by 3. So my actual score is going to be 66.6%. And why is it low? It is low because I scored bad in the first attempt. So people who are doing MBBS, you need to buckle up your seats. You can't simply say, okay, baad mein dekhenge. You have to, that is how the system is. In case you want to go into premier institutes, you have to be thorough with these subjects, with these 6 subjects and their applied aspects right now itself. You need to plan it right now itself. Yeah. So another thing you were asking about the next two, the draft guidelines are saying is they are practical or clinical exam, and there is a Viva exam also going to be there. So in this, they say that there will be 7 subjects. Next two will cover 7 subjects, not 6, but 7. Medicine, surgery, gynae, peds, eye, ENT, ortho and physical medicine and rehabilitation is a 7th subject which they have added. So, but it will be a pass-fail kind of thing. The guidelines further say that there will be OSCE exams, stimulations, actual clinical case evaluation based, and they will be held in person, and they will be conducted by the respective health universities once a year. The guidelines for that, dates for these will be issued by by NMC in subsequent months. And the next 2 supplementary exam, those who fail in any of these, that will also be held once a year, and results will be pass or fail kind. So, sir, any comments from your end?
Yeah, I think that this is a beautiful thing they have created now. I think everybody will be clear with Dr. Sandeep's message for everyone that you finish your final year, then you appear in next one theory paper, then you appear in the university practical examination, which is pass and fail. You clear that also, you start your internship. At the end of the internship, you appear in next 2, which is again a practical, OSCE type of examination. These 2 practical papers will be conducted by the university or institution in your respective state only. NMC will be conducting a nationwide next one theory paper only, and every paper like next one and next 2 will have 1 supplementary examination per year.
Yes, sir. And in the end, this is the proposed timeline which they have given. They have not mentioned the years here, right? So next one, as we said, second week of December it will be held. Then supplementary exam based upon like that will be decided according to the exam next step 1. Then after passing this next step 1, you have your university practical exam, which will be held in the first week of January, result by 4th week of January. Then 1st February internship will start all over the country together. So no delayed internships, which was the norm in many states right now. They will be finishing on 28th February following year. Next step 2 will be done after your internship is over. And then supplementary exam for next 2. Based upon this next one, paper, you will have the postgraduate admissions happening in May and June, and postgraduate course will start on 1st July. This is the proposed timeline given by the NMC guidelines. Sir, anything to add from your end?
This is a nationwide unified calendar which they wanted to always develop. That every university, health university, or institution should follow one calendar. And I think this is in front of us. Only one thing which is really aberrant over here is internships sounds 13 months over here, which may be a printing mistake. Maybe it's 1st March onwards, which we're not sure about. Or maybe it's like maybe they wanted to do 13 months because it looks like maybe it's a printing error or something like that. However, we'll get a clarification in the days to come from the NMC side only about it, because as per this date schedule, it looks like 13 months internship over here.
Yes.
So one more thing I would like to share at this point of time with all the students, that they have not given any clarification or hint about will there be negative mark or not. Because a lot of students will be asking us. We do not have, as Dr. Sandeep rightly said, that we are not giving our interpretation. We are just reading it out aloud with you guys to make it clear to each stakeholder at this point of time. So negative mark, whether will be there or not, how much, they will clarify in the days to come, I think, once it's gazetted. Number two, that will the practical marks be counted for the assessment of the PG entrance examination score? Answer is no, because both times, but whenever you appear in the practical paper before internship or after internship, they are saying it is going to be pass or fail kind of score. So the main determinant would be the next one paper, which is the final year theory paper, which is a nationwide unified single level paper. And my dear friends, it's a game changer. It's going to be really a significant change in the medical curriculum and the examination system of this country. Whenever any change comes, it brings opportunities also. So we all stakeholder would really, timely work on this to bring, the right kind of material for our beloved students so that they are adequately prepared for the upcoming pattern of the examination as well.
The routine rote learning, as sir said, it is not going to work. We need to adapt to the new change. At the same time, sir, people who are going to sit for the NEET PG exam in March 23, I think they need to take that exam very seriously, because there is some possibility, although nobody knows about it till the actual guidelines come, there is a possibility that subsequent NEET PG exams may, even if students will be eligible for sitting for those, the pattern may be shifting towards the next one kind of pattern, because eventually it doesn't happen overnight. There is always a transition which happens. But again, actually what will happen, that will depend upon the actual guidelines, and we will not speculate here. That is not our purpose of this video. So in the end, I would like to summarize, sir, if you would like to summarize these points.
Yeah, please summarize, sir.
Last slide this is.
Yeah, you just go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir, please.
So students, these are proposed guidelines. Changes may occur, but the overall pattern is unlikely to change. Certain tweaking can be expected. It will be a common exam for everyone. NEET PG, INICET, FMGE will not happen immediately, but will happen over a course of time. Next one will be MCQ exam, 6 major subjects, 6 major subclinical subjects, and applied parts of pre and paraclinical and community medicine. In that, no final year theory paper of university. University practicals will happen. After that, you will have 1 year internship. After internship, you will have next 2. The practical and next 2 will be pass or fail kind of exam. License to practice after 50% obtained in all the subjects. But based upon the merit that you have got, or based upon how many attempts you have taken, average of that score will be taken for deciding entry into PG entrance exam. For entry into PG entrance exam, next 1 will be taken, not next 2. So this is the summary, what the NMC is trying to say. When it will be implemented, let us wait for more clarification from NMC. So
in the end, I would like to just say one thing before we close it, that students, whenever any change comes, we get really scared. And it's a natural human reaction too. But when we work together from the educator side and from student side, when we work together, we can convert this change into a very wonderful opportunity where you can have a good score with you before you start your internship. Even you'll have a peaceful state of mind. You'll enjoy your internship also, and you will utilize the same score for the PG entrance examination later on. But for that, each one of us has to be taking the right start at the right time. Actually, that would be very important thing at this point of time. And we all the educators, all the faculty members are actually keeping a very keen eye on what is happening over here, so that we are very much prepared to help our fellow students to make sure that they are able to achieve their dreams, and everything that they're having in their mind should realize it.
Yes, sir. Rightly said, sir. So with this, we come to the end of this session. In the end, again, we keep on clarifying, it is not to scare students. It is only to share, simplify the information available. These changes can be distressing, but at the same time, it is always better to live in reality than to bury our heads in sand and thinking that, no, this is not going to happen, how it can happen. These things will happen. How they happen, what is the timeline? I think more details will be available in the next few months. So thank you very much, sir, for your time, for joining us all the way from across the globe here. And thank you, students, for listening to it. And any queries, if you have, you can post in the comments. In case we can share something, we'll share, reply to your comments. Other than that, if we don't have information, we are not going to speculate, because we know from experience that sometimes things do change at the last minute. So we'll not go into speculation. So thank you very much, and keep learning, embrace the change.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.